how business access impacts the value of the business. So we've said in multiple videos, we'll put some screenshots up here, business value is derived from three main things: the fundamentals, access, and capabilities. Fundamentals being revenues, profit, margins of the business, the actual dollars and cents components of it, and the hard financial statements. Capabilities being what is the product, service, or offering of the company, why is it special, why it's proprietary. But the third prong we're going to focus on today is the access. We want to dig into four particular types of access that a company can have and why that ultimately creates value to the company. First type of access a company may have is geographical access. And so it is a company that sells a product to people, companies, industries in this particular geography. We provide window cleaning services throughout New England. We provide building materials to the Southeast United States. We provide software to Western Europe. Whatever it may be, access can most easily oftentimes be defined through a geographical lens. Second is demographic. Think of that as age, gender, ethnicity, but are you selling your product, service, or offering to a particular crowd? Is there a particular crowd that has a particular affinity for what you do, that has a particular loyalty to what you do? And so you might be selling food products that teenagers really like. You might be selling clothes that Greek people really like. There's a million different examples, but tend to think of it in that way. Ages, generations, particular types of people specifically. The third type of access is industry. Now, you might be selling, again, a product or service into a particular industry. So we have a software product that we sell into hospitals and the broader healthcare industry. We have supplies that are sold into the pharmaceutical and immunotherapy verticals. We have a particular widget that sells into industrial wastewater treatment plant verticals. If it can be defined that the specialization of the business from an access perspective is a particular industry, vertical, types of companies, well, that can be a very well-defined niche of access as well. And lastly, the access is, we would say, the product, service, or offering user base. And so this can be a little bit kind of cross-industry, but if you said, we sell a software that is loved by people who are already using a CRM software for their computers. We are selling a device into companies that are already using big rig trucks for moving their stuff back and forth. And so that could be utilized by a lot of end industries or other kind of cross sections. However, we kind of think of that as the tag along or the piggyback type demographic of these are already customers that are already doing a thing, clients, companies, people that are already doing a thing, and we find that users of that thing are much more responsive towards what we are doing. And so why does this matter for value? Well, if you really think of most companies as they are growing and getting bigger, they're effectively mapping out all of the different categories of customers that they could attain, right? You think of this as, they call it TAM, or the total addressable market. But if a company is selling widgets, services, software, donuts, doorknobs, whatever it is, if they're selling this to the world, they probably have a map of where they're selling it well and where they're not selling it as well. And that mapping is not necessarily in a geographical sense, but they're mapping out the four categories that we've discussed. So they're mapping out geographies, mapping out demographics, mapping out industries or verticals, or mapping out user bases. If large company A is looking to make acquisitions, then their strategic objectives are likely to fill the gaps where they do not currently have access. So if there's an enormous chain of eyelash threading businesses, for instance, if their demographic is perhaps older individuals and they want to access younger individuals, if there is an eyelash threading business that caters specifically towards a younger demographic, then that would be an ideal acquisition, because they would then aggregate the eyelash threading universe, in which case there would be lots of synergies, cost savings, things of that nature, growth opportunities by aggregating. But in doing so, they are acquiring a customer base that they already do not have. So they're not cannibalizing their existing business, and they're growing a business that they already know intimately well. And so it's a perfect missing puzzle piece, if you will. So that's the logic behind access, is that if you can define a business as having access to a, again, categorical end market that they don't already have access to, whether, again, it's geography, demographic, industry, or user base, if you can define the company that you have or you're growing as the missing puzzle piece, well then when you ultimately go to sell that business, it is going to be a meaningful enhancement off of purely just the fundamentals of the business. And so we've seen companies where a company makes $1 million a year, perhaps it's worth $5 to $7 million as it stands. However, if it has access that someone really wants, we've seen them go 10 to 12 times, $10 to $12 million. And there's many different situations, and we've seen the upsides be considerably higher. And it's not to say every $1 million company always sells 5 to 7. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it can be a little less. It's very situationally dependent. However, think of access as a material enhancing factor. One more concept that we've discussed in prior videos, in addition to the missing puzzle piece, is the idea of the buy versus build question for an acquirer. And so again, if you have access to a certain customer base that a large company who's providing their service, product, or offering to lots of other people does not have, you can accurately characterize your business as a potential missing puzzle piece to what they're doing. Now, they are going to take the perspective of, well, we were going to build it anyways. We were going to expand into that territory. We were going to expand into that demographic. We were going to go into that industry. We were going to try to penetrate that user base. However, think of what that entails. It takes time, it takes money, it takes risk, it takes resources, and there's no certainty that it's actually going to work. And so, what does the missing puzzle piece really solve? Certainty. It de-risks the situation. It is trading risk for dollars. If someone wants to pay more to buy versus the risk of building, then that ROI can be very, very positive for the acquiring company, and the terms that that implies to selling business can be very captivating as well. So these are the real synergistic types of acquisitions that we try to look for in every engagement that we have, because it's this access, again, in conjunction with the fundamentals and the capabilities, that paints the picture as to why the company may be a missing puzzle piece to a larger acquirer, and why it may be much smarter and better for everybody to buy versus build. That's a thought for today. Business access. Hope the week continues to go well for everyone. Keep pushing forward. God bless.